Yeah, well, yeah, that is. Steve, you can throw the paper. I did not. Well, go. You brought some. But yeah. You brought the whole. Oh yeah, well, rather than go for drinks later. It's gonna cost me. You're the person that does that, so it should be. It should be. No, the but you got your business.
Yeah, so what'll happen is they'll read a preamble, they'll approve the minutes. I'll run through my presentation of your case and then your opportunity this week. And then they may ask you some questions. They'll probably have an amount of discussion amongst themselves, and then they'll run through the verdict. So you should get the answer tonight, and then you should be yours is pretty straightforward. So hoping it goes according to plan. You should be out of here.
Not too long ago, because I called, I think the lady was gone.
Yeah.
I called. No, he's getting married.
Yeah, it was nice here. She's from Oklahoma. We could have family respect out.
What city?
Also,
I lived in that house.
that's the evil.
I was there, yeah.
I see went to A&M for schools. Then ended up here. Yeah.
We had a little rival game because University of Texas.
Yeah.
Arlington.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a good game.
Yeah. We watched we went out and we watched the game, went to a bar to watch it. Because typically A&M tends to lose just historically, but this time she was convinced, that they would win.
Yeah.
And
It was before Texas. So.
wasn't meant to be. No, but I mean, if you get it approved tonight, you can submit your permit application. Then you have 2 years to do it. You need to get going on it, but you can do it as soon as possible.
So now, where do I go there?
See, link to the website to submit for the permit. I can email it to you and I can email you the decision letter. And so you'll have to, if you're wanting to apply for it yourself, you'll just have to create a contractor account to do it. But there's instructions on our website. You can do it even if you're not a contractor. It just gives you a number that you can use to reference your permit. So I can send you all that.
Yeah.
Because you don't already have a permit in the system, right?
Must be able to use that.
Yeah, if you can send that to me, I can take a look at that and see if we switched over systems at the end of the summer. I don't know when you had applied for yours. Okay, then you should be able to just reuse that one, but I can look into it for you.
I think I have this file, but I'll email
Then
it.
have it proceed. I think we're close to getting rid of this out.
Good evening, everyone. It's 6 p.m. and time to start the zoning board of appeals meeting for December the 4th, 2025, our last one of the year. Hard to believe. So we call the meeting to order and roll call. It looks like we're only missing two, but we have a quorum, so we're good this evening. Minutes from the November meeting. I was not here, but has the board had a chance to review and have any edits or motions to approve?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor of approving the minutes from November? Great. Thanks all. Let it be known, we've added a member up there. Artie's coming. There are no organizational and procedural items to my knowledge. Is that correct, staff? And no unfinished business. So we'll proceed to new business. And that starts with ZBA 25-18, the homeowners at 1945 Chartridge Court, Dunwoody, Georgia, requesting two variances. I do my preamble, thank you. Before staff starts. Trying to hurry for Erica. So before we get started, we always like to do this preface now that Artie's here, I can complete this. The Zoning Board of Appeals is charged with the responsibility of granting variances to ordinance requirements after determining whether there exists an undue hardship upon an applicant. In determining whether or not to grant a variance, the board shall apply the criteria specified in the city's own code of ordinances to the facts of each case. The Zoning Board of Appeals does not create zoning, nor can it change zoning. Matters brought before the Zoning Board of Appeals are to be concerned only with variances from requirements of the zoning ordinance, the sign ordinance, and development and environmental ordinances. The board has no authority to grant variances for use, density, or height. Further, the board hears cases requesting an appeal to a staff interpretation or decision on these same ordinances. Final decisions of the Zoning Board of Appeals may be appealed to petitioning the Superior Court of DeKalb County within 30 days after the decision here is rendered. And with that, we'll proceed to ZBA 25-18.
Thank you. So they're requesting a setback variance to build a porch to encroach into the rear setback and a lot coverage variance to allow the construction of the porch. So the lot is zoned RM 100, so that's multi-dwelling residential 100. I know we don't see a lot of those, so just wanted to call attention to that. It's 6,717 square feet, and it's currently developed with a 2,671 square foot two-story single-family home constructed in 1982. A portion of the existing house and all of an existing rear deck are encroaching into the 30-foot rear setback, and the existing house also encroaches into the 30-foot street setback. Additionally, the existing lot coverage is approximately 43%, which is 8% more than the maximum allowed lot coverage of 35%. So these photos show the existing deck, and the applicant is proposing to convert a portion of the existing rear deck into a porch and to enlarge it slightly. So you can see the renderings to the left here, and then to the right, you can see the site plan. And so the proposed project will encroach into the 30-foot rear setback by a maximum of 18 feet, prompting a variance request. And then the proposed project will also increase the lot coverage to 45%, which is 10% more than the maximum allowed. So that's prompting another additional variance request. So the neighborhood, the Woodlands, is pretty unique because it was developed as cluster homes under zoning regulations that are no longer in effect and don't match the current RM 100 standards. The RM 100 standards were written to accommodate garden-style apartment buildings, so not really single-family homes. And as currently mapped, this leads to undesirable outcomes such as the minimal buildable area in this case. The vast majority of the homes in the neighborhood encroach into setbacks and exceed the maximum lot coverage due to the poor fit of the zoning category. The subject property meets the minimum standards for frontage. However, it has a highly unusual, extremely narrow shape as the cul-de-sac causes the street property line to curve and the other lot lines are tapered. And the southern property line is only 42 feet wide, which severely constrains the buildable area. So there's really no option for any construction on the property without encroaching into the setbacks. Additionally, the existing deck is already encroaching into the rear setback. The applicant is proposing to only slightly increase the encroachment into the rear setback in order to just straighten out an existing line of the deck without going any further into the property line. The property is already over its allowed lot coverage at 43%, and the proposed increase of 2% is relatively minor, appearing to be the minimum necessary to afford relief. The proposed project would not constitute a grant of special privilege. The porch is a standard improvement, and most of it will be constructed over the existing deck, so a pretty minimal project. Without accounting for the unique conditions of the site, the strict application of the setbacks and lot coverage requirements could prevent incremental changes to the property over time, which staff considers to be a practical difficulty. So for these reasons, staff is recommending approval on ZBA 25-18, subject to our two standard conditions shown on the screen here.
Great, thank you, Allegra. Would the applicant or their representative care to come to the podium and address the board? State your case. Just state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Philip Harrell, 1945 Chart Ridge Court. And we would like to be able to take half of our deck and convert it into a porch, a screened-in porch. For obvious reasons, in the south, we have lots of mosquitoes and bugs. And also it's facing, it gets the morning sun, but in the afternoon, it can be rather scorching. And so with the porch, it would just make that area a lot more useful for us.
Okay, great. Anybody else want to speak in favor of this application? I don't think we got any cards, so that's good. And there was nobody speaking in opposition. So any other questions you guys have initially for the applicant? No? All right, thank you. Board comment? Questions, motions?
Okay, so they have a very oddly and restrictively shaped lot. They are proposing a minimal intrusion into the setback that will straighten out a line. So it will be visually more attractive, and the incremental impervious surface lot coverage along with the minimal encroachment, I feel like are based on the nature of this lot, and they don't have any other way to make an improvement. I mean, there's nowhere that they could make an improvement that would not be in a setback because it's already in the setback.
Right.
And their minimal amount of additional encroachment is a minor, I would say the minimum amount necessary, like Allegra said, to afford relief.
Yeah, thank you. And we've seen this at Woodlands over the years, right? It is problematic. In fact, I would, at some point, we'll discuss it on the staff and board some point, right? That should be addressed again, the zoning of that neighborhood at some point. But yeah, I agree. And there's really no damage to the impervious surface, right? It's an elevated porch. So it's not really hurting that at all. So, and no stream buffers or anything like that involved. Artie?
Yeah, and for staff, other homes in the area which are similarly encroaching, they also have porches, right? of that nature?
There are a few other porches in the neighborhood, and we've seen a couple of variances from this neighborhood over the past couple of years. A lot of the lots have the same issues.
Sounds good. Thanks.
I have a question. I wanted to make a motion, but I think my paper might be wrong. Can I just,
It's double-sided.
I think they're both the same. Am I? Okay, no, wait, the middle, okay, well,
No, you're right.
they're both the same.
It's,
Interesting.
Oh,
Rare,
oh, you know what?
very rare.
I,
no, it's.
The recommendations for one case are listed under the other case. So if you look at the page that's for ZBA 2519, which is the case we haven't yet heard.
right,
Oh, actually, I take that back. Never mind.
yeah, they're the same. The-
And you guys can, we put that, put it on the screen here. You can use that,
Okay.
to make a motion that has the conditions on here,
Thank you.
and then we'll connect the dots.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
Based on what's been presented this evening and staff's findings, I would like to make a motion to approve the request to allow a porch to encroach into the rear setback and to exceed the maximum lot coverage to allow construction of a porch with the following conditions. And this is for ZBA 25-18. Construction must be in substantial compliance with the submitted site plan prepared by applicant and submitted on October 6th, 2025, see Appendix A. And if construction has not commenced within 2 years of the granting of this variance, approval shall be void.
Second.
We have a first and a second for approval. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you. Now we'll proceed to our second case this evening, which is ZBA 25-19, requesting 2 variances as well.
All right, thank you. So they're requesting one variance to exceed the maximum lot coverage to allow construction of a pickleball court and one setback variance to allow retaining walls to encroach into the rear setback. So the lot is zoned R100 and it's 0.78 acres. It's currently developed with a 5,438 square foot, 2-story single family home, a rear patio, and a swimming pool that was all constructed approximately 2017. The existing lot coverage is approximately 31.3%, which is 1.3% more than the maximum allowed lot coverage of 30%. And so the photos here show the existing backyard, and in particular, the photo on the left is where the proposed pickleball court would go. And you can see that it slopes down a little bit, which is the reason for the subsequent retaining wall variance request. So the applicant proposes to construct an 1,800 square foot pickleball court to the rear of the house. You can see that shaded in blue on the site plan to the right. The proposed project will increase the lot coverage to 37.3%, which is 7.3% more than the maximum allowed lot coverage, prompting a variance request. As part of the pickleball court construction, several retaining walls surrounding the pickleball court will encroach into the rear setback, prompting an additional variance request. And you can see the retaining walls outlined in red around the court. So the subject property meets the minimum standards for lot area and frontage. Additionally, it is of a similar shape and size to other properties in the subdivision. So there are no unique conditions about the property that necessitate the lot coverage variance. At 1,800 square feet, the proposed pickleball court presents a substantial increase in impervious surface. While the applicant has proposed mitigation for increased runoff in the form of aquacell underground detention systems sized for the added impervious area, staff finds that the requested lot coverage variance goes beyond the minimum necessary to afford relief. Pickleball courts on a single-family property are not a common improvement anywhere in the city of Dunwoody, and there are no pickleball courts in the subdivision. Additionally, pickleball courts present noise levels that can be detrimental to public health and welfare. Sounds from the impact between racket and ball are estimated to be faintly audible above ambient noise level by an average listener within 175 feet of the nearest pickleball court. So the graphic to the right, you can see in yellow, that shows a radius of potential noise impacts. So there's quite a few properties impacted by that. And noise from pickleball courts is high frequency and impulsive. So these sounds reflect and travel efficiently. And so they're not easily buffered by landscaping and fencing. Impulsive noise can disrupt rest, learning, concentration, and speech comprehension for neighbors. And as a result, in a November 2025 publication entitled Managing Pickleball Noise Through Zoning, the American Planning Association recommends that outdoor pickleball courts be outright prohibited within a buffer zone, ideally between 350 and 500 feet. So the proposed pickleball court is located as close as 10 feet to the rear and side property lines. While the applicant has 2 letters in support from adjacent neighbors, and you can see those with the marked with the stars in blue on the graphic to the right, there are 4 other neighbors who could potentially be impacted by noise from the pickleball court who have not indicated support, and 1 neighbor at 4893 Ashford Walk who has expressed opposition. And if you're looking at the property, that is the back left corner. So that's the property that sort of backs up to the pickleball court on the left-hand side. Staff finds that the grant of the variance could constitute a grant of special privilege inconsistent with the limitations upon other similarly situated properties. And the property has substantial other improvements for outdoor activities, including a pool and patio. So in staff's opinion, even without the pickleball court, the residents enjoy the opportunity to utilize the property for its intended purpose as a residence. Thus, staff finds no extreme hardship or practical difficulty. Staff has also inquired about alternative construction methods in lieu of pouring a concrete field. There are pervious alternatives that, if installed properly, are not counted towards impervious surface. And at the time of our meeting about the case, the applicant had rejected those alternatives due to concerns about their suitability for a quality play experience. The rear setback variance is requested for the retaining walls, which are required as part of the pickleball court construction in order to create a flat area suitable for playing. The proposed retaining walls are a relatively minor improvement, but though staff sees no harm in the retaining wall proposal, the retaining walls are merely to support the pickleball court, and staff therefore recommends denial of both variance requests. So based on these reasons, staff is recommending denial of both variances. Should the Zoning Board of Appeals choose to approve the requests, staff recommends the following conditions, which are just our standard conditions.
Thank you. Or any initial questions for staff? It's pretty thorough. Thanks, Lyra.
I actually have one real quick. So the letter that was in opposition, that is inside that 175 mark.
So if you're looking at the pickleball court, it's directly to the left. It's the neighbor. You can see they have a pool in their backyard.
Okay.
It looks like.
Got it. Yep. Thank you.
And that was emailed to you all earlier in the week.
Thank you.
Okay, so no other questions. We'll ask the applicant to come and address the board. Just state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Peter Bricks at 1336 Manjet Way, Atlanta 30338. I have my grader Nick here who can answer some technical questions after I go. So just in brief introduction, I purchased the house in the summer of 2024, moved in September, so I've been there 15 months. So I had a lot of conversations with Allegra this week. I received the staff memo. I think it was the day or two before Thanksgiving. So in reading the memo, I took the opportunity to essentially look through that 175-foot radius and approach some of the neighbors I hadn't heard from. So the one that you got the email from, actually, I reached out to, and he told me he was in opposition. So when he told me that, I sort of abandoned the idea. So I'm not really intending to do a pickleball court based on his opposition. However, in conversation with Allegra, because it was, do I table this or just essentially, because based on that opposition, I decided, let me maybe do it a sport court with a basketball hoop. which isn't in the notice. So we discussed, would I table it? I didn't want to re-advertise or reapply for the variance. So essentially, the reason I'm still here for the hearing is not really to get it approved as a pickleball court, but essentially to build it as a sport court, to add a basketball hoop, which would, and essentially from my brief research since then, it looks like there are pervious and impervious options, but I just figured since we had the hearing already scheduled and been noticed for 2 months, that I would go forward with the hearing, if nothing else, to determine, can I build it up as a sport court, either pervious or impervious, or will I have to go through the permitting procedure to only do it as pervious? So that's essentially where I'm at. I understand she wanted to go through with the presentation based on what you saw in the memo, but I wanted to just clarify that for y'all. So
Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess I just want to interject because I probably have questions for the city now, because I mean, he told us what he wants to do now. I'm just thinking, and if it's inappropriate, just let me know. I'm just, in my mind, I'm thinking, what's different from the city point? Is it is the footage the same? Is it different? I mean, because one of the noise level was a big deal. I know we don't really look at it, but that means that essentially this goes out the window, the opposition, right?
Essentially, right? But
But I just have questions. Maybe the city could interject and tell us what the difference they think is, if we could.
but we can't rule on it tonight for a different plan anyways.
Right.
Right. So
This.
we need a different,
To table
correct me if I'm
it.
wrong, you won't need a different, we can defer it and he can come up with a new plan, but it's not a separate application. Is that correct? Yeah. So that's what the recommendation would be. You have to show them what
Can
your
we make a
plan is.
motion to do that now?
Yeah, if that's what
Well-
the applicant wants to do.
Okay, maybe we just, I see a very confused look, and so I wonder if we.
But I
just-
applaud him. I mean, he's straightforward. You
So,
understand?
so how about we turn it over, if we could maybe bring staff back up and explain what the procedure would be to consider a variation, which is a pretty,
Major variation.
right, a big change to the current variance request, because we can only make a decision based on what has been presented, and so staff can
Sure.
explain how to.
And maybe,
modify.
and maybe staff could direct us. This is the first for me, by the way. Could also tell us if the two kind of merge. I don't know.
So the two issues at play though are impervious surface, retention wall, and that's it, right? Setback.
So that's what I wanted to get at. So the variance
Okay.
before you all is a variance
Yeah.
to increase the lot coverage, and it's a variance to build those two retaining walls, or build the retaining walls there. The sport code, the pickleball, is sort of the narrative, but there is no prohibition against pickleball in the code. We have these two variances for lot coverage and for. So I would say what we would need to do if the application changes, I think we need an amendment to the application that could include. I mean, I don't know about the size of these courts. It sounds
Exactly.
different.
Exactly.
That may change. Then the
Exactly.
pervious was impervious. I mean, we would clearly need to figure out. I think that's for the applicant to make a amendment to his application, and then depending on the timeline for this, this could be a 1 month or 2 month type idea, depending on how big the changes are. But I think what the applicant needs to do is to let us know what he wishes to do instead of this now. Yeah.
Okay, well, because the other thing I'm just throwing out there for he might not need us anymore, because the lot coverage might not be as necessary as a pickleball.
Still gonna be.
So maybe he doesn't want to go that far back.
Well, regardless of to the earlier point, it's like we can only vote on what's presented to us now,
Right,
right?
correct.
So is there a way, let me just ask city staff this, to vote on what is presented at hand without, I guess,
No.
incurring additional
No.
financial
We've
variance?
done something similar where the applicant decided to go back and further modify their plans.
It's no different, right? It's no different than a modification, a deferral and a modification, right? So that's where.
Yeah,
how we'll
so
proceed.
there wouldn't be additional cost for the applicant. It would just go back, he would come back, he would update his plans, update his narrative, submit that to us, and then we would probably share that with the people who have commented on it. So that they have an opportunity to,
And we could do it as presumably, right? I guess the staff will decide with the applicant. 30 days, as early as 30 days, the January meeting, or if more time's required for review and submission of plan, and maybe
Yeah.
60 days,
and
whatever.
I would suggest just asking him kind of
Right.
what his
Right.
what his anticipation is for how long that would take him to draw up these new plans. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to clarify what I wanted to say, I mean, listen, when he says out, I know that we're out. We can't do anything today.
No.
But I was trying to see what is it, but us, we our hands are tied.
Because we have, this is,
The only thing we could do is vote to defer.
right, which we're going to, right.
So could the applicant come back up to the podium, please?
He's conferring.
No, you go
Take it
back.
also, yeah.
Believe me, you want to stick with us this time.
I was trying to get some timeline from him who would be doing the work. That was why I was.
Yeah, I think the timeline is just to be able to
Yeah.
produce a plan for, if it's the same size and just impervious, it won't take long, whatever it might be, whatever modifications to this particular plan, you got to get them to staff, and then we just bring it back to us.
Yeah, and we would defer this, but not set a date, if that makes sense. So you would request a deferral.
Okay.
We would vote to defer it, and then you would work.
Sorry, if I can just interject, you all do need to pick a
Okay.
date.
We
this
do.
evening
Okay,
to
We
defer
did pick
to.
a date. That's right.
So like
But-
60 days or?
I would say let's not do a specific amount of days because you don't know when that meeting might be. I would just
Okay.
say that you would defer it to whichever
February.
month precisely. to
Which
the
is-
zoning
yeah,
board
which
this
is what-
meeting in whatever month it would be.
Yeah, we're going to.
And I'm sorry, Allegra, because the January meeting agenda has already been published, is that, oh, I thought I saw it somewhere.
Probably not yet.
Thought I saw it in the crier.
We published the agenda a week before the hearings.
So not the,
It's already been advertised, but with a deferral, there's no re-advertisement necessary.
oh,
So
okay.
you can defer it to whatever meeting makes sense for the applicant's timeline.
Okay, so it wasn't the agenda I saw, it was the
Yeah.
notice. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you for
but
that
This is
clarification.
the public hearing that we're having for the case. It's been already advertised. And so like with all our deferrals, there's no need to re-advertise. You can just defer it and we'll go
Okay,
from there.
perfect, thank you.
Yeah, that's what he was doing, I think. Yes,
Yeah, so we're trying to just go through the proper protocols here to allow you to get an idea of what time frame this would take to redraw up plans. And if you want to take a few minutes to do that right now, I would think that'd be okay. But I think what it sounds like the board is leaning towards is just overall deferring this, given what you've stated to us. Does that make sense? Are you understanding it?
So can I take a couple minutes?
Yes,
to ask you about the
absolutely,
plan?
absolutely.
Okay.
And then when you render which you prefer, 60 days, 30 days, then we'll do a motion accordingly to defer it to then.
And really,
For
that
you.
motion is for us to say January versus February.
We'll see you in
versus
30 days or 60 days, whatever, with the new plan. Yep.
But I think at this point, let's get it done. Yes.
Um, I forgot what the magic words are, but deferral till January is, is that what I'm supposed to say?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So we'll have to get a motion to do that if the board agrees to do that. And of course, no guarantees after that. It's like going brand new to us again with presenting the case, but well, it'll be, different, obviously. We can't rule on how it is this evening because it's pickleball court, your size, the dimensions could change, whatever. Your plans may change, so we'll review that in January. So I need a motion if once. One month away. Sure. That's what he asked.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, we discussed it. I think we can do that.
Well, they conferred with the staff too, so I think everybody's in alignment on that.
Okay, so we're gonna make board discussion or make a motion, but you're coming to us saying that you have adequate time to modify your plans as they exist today to change the scope of your plans and present them back to staff through proper channels of vetting it through the public and all that good stuff for January's board, which is early January, which will be here to Artie's point pretty quickly. So you feel like you have adequate time and you're good there?
That was,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Do it.
Yeah. All right,
Cool.
that's not really.
Can I remove
questions.
the sign from my yard or just?
No, well, we're not even.
Yeah, we don't worry about that.
All right, a motion to defer ZBA 2519 for 1336 Manjay Way until the January meeting.
Do I have a second?
Sorry, January 2026 meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor of deferral till January? All right, we'll see you in January. Thank you. So. Yeah, you and Eric. I told Eric. Any other business? No. Public comment, board comment adjourned.